From Lewis in the Black Horse Pub. Well, for some reason the camera is showing it, so absolute disaster. Good morning and welcome to Meridor Television in its usual state first thing in the morning is with somebody who has absolutely no idea about technology, pulling the strings. And it gets into a real flap. Something should take 5 minutes, takes 5 bloody hours. Well, there you are. That's what we have to put up with. It's we're going to complete some of the things we should have. We have no idea where we are, what we're doing, and why would it think I wanted to leave the site, for Christ's sake? Here I am better again. Not sure I'm any the wiser, but we'll try our best. What we have to do. The trouble is, no mouse, and when my finger gets going, is what we've got is the papers for March the 31st. Isn't that just so bloody true? You can't get anything. You can't get anything up. The BBC website is an absolute bloody mess, like the rest of it. It really is. If you really want an example of, if you yell long enough, something is really great, then everybody assumes that it is great. You know, I tried to watch television. I went through the first 6 channels, not all BBC, but some, mostly BBC. It was absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. You couldn't believe that rubbish like that could go on television. There's Ada in the background, busy. She tries to keep me straight, batters me around the ears. Then I've got cauliflower ears. People keep on meeting me and saying, "Am I a boxer?" It's all from Ada. I'm losing my train of thought now. Yeah, BBC. Yeah, I couldn't watch. I eventually had to find some anonymous channel, and I watched a movie from about 30 years ago, and by golly, was it good! I could understand what they were saying. I understood the plot, the backgrounds, and so on were magnificent. It's unlike modern movies where the actors all speak so fast you can't understand them. The plot is just a formulaic plot. Watch any movie and it's the same plot. And essentially, they tart up the surroundings to such an extent that there's no reality left. I love seeing a dock scene in an old movie. It's so real. This suspense, eerie. You don't get that in modern movies anymore. It's the odd blockbuster that comes along that is worth watching, but that's all. Oh, dearie, 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 dearie. What trauma. Now, I would like to show you the weather. If I can. And there we go. Because actually the sun's out. I thought rain we had. 8 degrees. Quite cool compared to what it has been. Light rain showers. It's 5 degrees outside at the moment. And it says cloudy, but in fact, yeah, there's lots of cloud around, but just temporarily we've got some sun and a moderate breeze. And more or less the same tomorrow. And Sunday is going to be not so much sunshine, back to rain again. Monday the same. It's the Tuesday before we get rain again, before we get sunshine again. So enjoy tomorrow. Whatever you plan to do, enjoy tomorrow. Right, at 9 o'clock today, we're going to have 7 degrees and sunny. 10 o'clock, 7 degrees and sunny. Before it starts to cloud over again at 11 o'clock and rises to 8, and that's as high as it's going to be all day. Now, can we?
Okay.
Rose, thank you very much. Ada bringing me some coffee is marvelous. Newspaper. Top stories. Two hours ago, thank God, we've got the real stuff. All right, okay, let's take a look at the news. The Daily Telegraph. I have the Russian soldiers in my sights, but no shells to fire at them. Right. So we're now getting into the crisis in the Ukraine. A variety of stories are reflected across the front pages today. Daily Telegraph says a main story is about the situation in Ukraine and focuses on the lack of ammunition on the front line. The headline: Ukrainian servicemen are saying, "I have the Russian soldiers in my sights, but no shells to fire at them." Do you know, the West is just so stupid when it comes to this. It really is. It talks itself into, let's have the home comforts. Believe me, this guy Putin will attack. He'll attack anybody. You'll have another Pearl Harbor. You watch it, unless you actually draw a line. You must draw a line with this man. You can actually deal with him if you draw a line. If you've shown that you mean business, the way that you're behaving now, you're going to encourage him. And believe me, defending rather than attacking is a whole different kettle of fish. The Metro. 2 years of lunacy. In the last 730 days, tyrant Vladimir Putin has fired 8,000 missiles, targeted 828 hospitals, killed at least 10,000 Ukrainians. For what? It says. Well, because he's it's his understanding of how to gain his dream. So it's the way to gain his dream. In the 2 years that this war has been going on, he's been put to flight, brought to his knees, and then allowed to get up again. And he's not going to change. He's not going to say, "Oh, thank you very much for saving me." What he's going to do is to come out at us again. So be prepared. Be prepared. I am not a warmonger. On the contrary, I love my peace. But this man doesn't care who he bumps off. And he would just assume lob a missile at the UK as bake a cake on Friday. We are mad. We're completely mad. But then again, we know, and the consensus is that we've got leaders that don't know how to lead. Everything is in a mess. Total mess. The I. A new Brexit deal on food and cars could be agreed with Labour, say EU officials. In other words, they're all anxious to go back into this failed organisation. It has given us a chance to take a look at the EU. It's failed. Half its members have fallen out with the central core. Its economy is in worse shape. It's got as much problem, if not more, on immigration, legal and illegal. Its trade is down, and they want us to rejoin. How crazy can they be? The eye focuses on the UK's relationship with Europe, citing EU officials who say that a new Brexit deal could be agreed with Labour. It says that the EU will offer Labour a change to reset trade if it wins the next general election. and adds that Labour also wants to forge a closer relationship with the EU. There is also a box on the front page stating that Commons Speaker Lindsay Hoyle clings on his job of his Gaza vote apology. Another story I bloody keep here. The Guardian. Seeing the same GP each visit cuts workloads and improves health. Aha! The Guardian's main story states that seeing the same GP each week cuts workloads and improves health, according to a study. It also has an image of a Palestinian family who say their son's killing by Israeli forces was an execution. The front page also mentions House of Commons Speaker Lindsay Hoyle, who fights back after a row over Gaza debate. Now, first of all, on the main story, at the time that this local lot got going, and frankly, I've forgotten what a doctor looks like. I've been trying to see one for 3 weeks now, and all I get is sickly bloody smarts from the receptionists, who have far too much authority. Far too much. Because the doctors are too bloody lazy to do it? No, they're not lazy. They've just got the wrong system. Their time is now filled with stuff that shouldn't be filled. They're doing things which they shouldn't be doing. It's all very silly. But nobody will admit that they made a mistake. It's crazy. It is simply not working. And it's not just me. I just happen to be, it happens to somebody who happens to be a voice who can say that these things are happening and more than one person is listening. But I can't talk to anybody who's satisfied with this new system. In fact, I wonder who they get into the front door, because it doesn't seem as if they get patients. Those are the last things that they're in the surgery. Now, the second one, a Palestinian family who say their son's killing by Israeli forces was an execution. It may well have been. I wouldn't deny the good lady. The thing is that evil has existed on both sides. So don't stop pointing the bloody finger. The Israelis are as guilty as the Palestinians. And if they don't work something out, or somebody doesn't work something out involving the two of them, then we are in for all these silly nonsenses. And yes, war is evil. Things happen in war that don't normally happen, and we accept them. But this is sheer nonsense. This woman says that the Israelis executed my son. They may well have done. And Gaza fighters have murdered Israelis. And there have been deaths that there shouldn't be. But that is war. Goodbye, Ada. But that is war. And that sort of thing is going to happen. So it does absolutely no good saying this lady's son was executed, or she says it was. On either side, on any side. Now, the front page mentions the House of Commons Speaker Lindsay Hoyle, who fights back after the Gaza defense debate. If he stepped out of line, he's been a pretty good speaker so far. He hasn't shown any obvious bias. I'm afraid any time Conservative or Labour backbenchers stamp their little feet, I find it irrelevant. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they've lost the track of why they are in Westminster, to represent us and to make life better for us and to govern us. No, 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 no. We're not here to do that. We're here to stamp our feet and yell and scream and yell principle. At whose cost? And Labour is no better. And actually the front benches are in disarray. There is no governance and no likelihood of it either. If we switch parties at the next election, nothing will change. They are all useless. That whole sector needs reforming. And we've got to stop putting people in power for isms. That is no qualification for leadership. Those three things highlight some of the things that are wrong with our society at the moment. The Mail. Outrage as genocide message is beamed on Big Ben. While there were demonstrations outside the UK Parliament yesterday, or on Wednesday, the Mail says a genocide message was beamed onto Big Ben, adding that Jewish leaders reacted with fury to the projection. The front page also has a large picture of Taylor Swift, saying the VLA wants to hire a Taylor Swift expert. Bloody hell. Just shows how ridiculous we are getting. We need to get back to basics. We need to get back to basics. All this is absolute nonsense. Daily Express. Just why didn't police stop anti-Semitic beamed on Big Ben? The Express also focuses on the pro-Palestinian demonstration on Wednesday, asking why police did not stop the anti-Semitic slur being beamed onto Big Ben. Well, that's a good question. Why? It's because the police, like everything else, has broken down. Our entire society is broken. We've got to start again. But we won't, because we become too soft and sassy. We like the status quo. We don't like change in our lives. And that's the problem with our leaders. The leadership, they do not like change. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. That's why there's a lot of battle gab justifying the way that they behave. We are in a right bloody mess. We really are. This next story in the Times. Fake tears and tricks of the charity fundraisers. Right, we're all being conned out of our money by charities. That's the Times headline, Fake tears and tricks of the charity fundraisers, which says that the UK's fundraiser watchdog has launched an inquiry into door-to-door pressure selling techniques used by a children's charity. Following a Times investigation, there's also a story quoting Prime Minister Rishi Sunak as saying that the Parliament cannot bend to intimidation. Financial Times. Nvidia profit bonanza drives global rally as stock markets ride AI wave. The FT has two big tech stories on its front pages. The main story is about chip maker Nvidia, whose soaring profits have helped rally the stock market and add 205 billion to its value in the process. It also reports that temporarily stopped its artificial intelligence model, Gemini, following a backlash about how it represents different ethnicities and genders. The Mirror. Out on day release, he claims he should now be freed for good. Blames himself for his wife's death in jail and wants to heal family rift. Refuses to admit guilt and demands compensation for human rights breaches. My regrets. Is Roger Clark, who was spoken out for the first time after previously being jailed for smuggling £1 million worth of cocaine on a cruise ship. Well, he's regretted it. And I'm damn sure that anybody who knows anything about prison at all will say yes. He should have known when he was taking the risk of being caught what he was in for if he was caught, and he was caught. Let's get a smile. A Daily Star. A bad day for mutts. Sleepy Joe Biden's dog bit Secret Service team 24 times in 9 months. Rough justice, it says. R-U-F-F justice. The Star leads with a couple of dog-related stories, calling them rough justice. The first is a story about US President Joe Biden's dog, Commander, which is in the doghouse of biting the Secret Service team 24 times in 9 months. The second is about the world's oldest hound, which has now been stripped of that title. Oh dear. The Sun married Ellie and her surf hunt. Singers Roberts is hurried in UK. The Sun has pictures of singer Ellie Goulding and a surf instructor with the headline, Married Ellie and her surf hunt. Oh, gosh. Well, he's a hunk, all right. But how long will that last? Not very long, I suspect. Well, there you are. It's now 8:30, and what a morning it has been already. With me poking my finger where I shouldn't, and sending pages swirling all over the place. All over the place. It is beyond comprehension. Beyond comprehension. But I find that increasingly the stories in the news are demonstrating a flailing leadership. Now, our form of government is that you get better governance if you have a strong opposition. And so I always see government as one. The opposition as well as the power party. They are all responsible for what happens in our society, how we govern. And so it seems to me that if we don't have a strong opposition and we don't have a strong government, we are in dreadful trouble. Dreadful trouble. Oh, I have with me the Times, which has lots on rugby. And just to remind you, you can watch rugby here at the Black Horse tomorrow. Kick off, I think is it 4:45? Wow, there's several pages in the sports pages of rugby. I don't mind because it's my sport. Actually, the Times does a pretty good job on sports on most days. It doesn't just give snippets. Wow, you might want to take a look at it. But the one story that bothers me this morning more than anything else is fake tears and tricks for the charity fundraisers. And the fundraising regulator has begun an investigation after the Times found that people going door to door for a well-known children's charity had been taught pressure selling techniques. An undercover reporter trained as a fundraiser at a third-party marketing company, IBA Global, with the job of signing up householders for donations to the Great Ormond Street Hospital charity, which is prominent on television at the moment with people raising funds for it. It's the old only £3 a day will save a child. And the embodied carrots for its meal. Trainees working on in early ways were taught to use psychological motivators and preempt objections and preempt objections on the doorstep. The result in fundraising is repeatedly requesting customers to sign despite the code of fundraising practice, warning against placing undue pressure on people. One senior fundraiser admitted to creating the impression that he was deaf to get a householder to answer the door, calling it very cheeky, and said he could make himself cry. Wow, I might be able to make myself cry. I don't know. I could try. After the reporter went door to door for GOSH charity in London, it emerged that the charity had failed to notify the Metropolitan Police, breaking a requirement of a government-run scheme. So, in other words, they're up to their old tricks. And this is the people in charge. Huh. It's not at all nice. I don't actually give to charity on appeal. I give by choice, and I don't trust any charity at all. No, none whatsoever. Because the things that eventually come out that have gone on, it's too late to alter, particularly men taking advantage of young boys. You pay more attention to that. Would be a healthier society. Now here's another one. Shaggy Dog story. A dog has been posthumously stripped of its title as the world's oldest canine after a dispute about its real age. Guinness World Records says it has no evidence that Bobby, the dog, was as old as had been claimed. Bobby, a purebred Raffaello Argentino, died last October at the reported age of 31 years and 155 days. The breed typically lives 12 to 14 years. Guinness World Records said the microchip that purported to provide Bob's age was not sufficient proof that the dog was kept, and so he had his title taken away from him. God bless him. Yeah. I'd say it's 22 or we go to the two B's next. We shall take a break, and then we shall come back with the two B's. So, to the clip for a moment.
From Lewis in the black